Hi everyone, it's Michael, and today I'm going to introduce you to the concept of 1 bit, 3 bits, and body tracing. In the previous tutorial, I didn't introduce you to the notion of bits because I didn't want it to overwhelm you with theory when it's not necessary. I just wanted you to feel comfortable with a really basic spin of it, but now you're ready for a bit more understanding of it. So what you have done so far with all this front and back spin are actually 2 bits. And to count bits, it's really easy. You count every time the hand reaches the ground in front of you. 1, 2, before going into the other plane. 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is 2 bits. 1, 2. And now we're going to see together how to add extra turn to go for the 3 bits, or to stay on the 1 bit, and what can we provide to our spin and the dynamic of the spinning around us. With the 1 bit. So for this one, I'm gonna ask you to imagine and visualize now that you're a painter. You're not doing stuff anymore. This is a gigantic paintbrush, and we're gonna paint circles. And we're gonna paint first one in front of us, and we're gonna do it in 4 steps. So now the middle point of the staff is in my hand, in between my fingers, my index and my thumb, and it's close to my lap. I don't want it to be in front or behind, but really at the level of my hips. We're gonna first start by down, and this is our first point. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by respecting that pattern, we are actually painting a circle, like if they were like a big paper in front of us, or a wall, and we're painting on a circle. And we can do it in, obviously, both directions. Here is important to try to keep the hand close to the body and at the level of the hips or the leg, not going in front, otherwise the other part of the head does not want to go in the picture, and if you do that, you actually start to do a 2 bit. But here we just want 1 bit. And you can allow, if you see, like I let the staff being really free in my hand to be able to do a circle. So let's come back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you really stay here, you will realize that we are painting not 1, but actually 2 circles, 1 in front and 1 in back at the same time. And you see also that my hand is following by habit the head of which is moving in front. And this is what we call tracing. And after this is up to your creativity. Some people like to imagine, and it's like you're holding the staff with a string, like a puppet master, or then you can just follow the flame which is in front of you. Sometimes I'm fighting a bit with it because I have sometimes a bit aggressive relation with my stick. But this is the basic of tracing with the 1 bit, and you see it can be really, really visual and nice. If you have a mirror, it can definitely help you for the practice, but if you don't, just try to break it down like I show you with the count. and follow it visually, work both direction, and of course, both hands. I should work on my left also. And if you start to struggle with it, or this one is always good in the picture, check what your hand is placing. It's really often where these people are struggling with, and let your hand also guide and give like more stability to it. We can use exactly the same concept, but we can change place of the body. Now you see I change also the angle of the camera, because we are not now going to do it at the level of the hips, but at the level of the shoulder. And also the position of the hand is changing. I still have my finger in the claw on the middle part, but now it's almost like if I'm holding a spear. See, this is the posture of my hand. So I'm in front, and the game is the same. We are painting in front of us. So I start by down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like this, we are creating both circle, both direction, but with this interesting posture to be around the head like this. You can still do tracing with it also. And there is a way to connect both. It's a bit complicated with the angle of the camera, but if you are on your one bit here around the hips, you can bring a second bit and your hand can join on top. And when you're comfortable with that, now it's bringing the head behind to be able to come back on the level of the hips, and so you can make something also really fluid with it and still incorporating your tracing in there. And we are almost done with the one bit. Just some few words and also like a variation when you can add a movement with the one bit. Personally, one bit I really like them, especially with fire, because you can really have this play with the fire like close to the body, and it brings kind of a magical effect also when you can have your hand close to the flame like this. And it brings also, instead of a spin, which is really dynamic here, you can do something way more slow and take time also in your rhythm. So it's kind of a nice way to calm down the rhythm you are in. And now for the movements, it's pretty simple. Let's take the one when we are on the hips level. When it's going here to the side, I'm gonna allow it to go behind me and to fall, and I'm gonna follow it and do a full circle and coming back. It's even easier if you follow with your hand, for example, and coming back. You can also work the other way around. And it also works with the shoulder variation. When it's above here, when it's on the third point, and about to go down, I will just allow it to go behind me, let it fall, and coming back. And you bring a nice pirouette into your plane. Now let's go for the 3-beat. We're going to start first by the front spin variation of it. There's 2 3-beat variations possible for the front spin and for the back spin. And they will offer different variation of your rhythm. And when the 1-beat was here for slow it down, definitely the 3-beat gonna add more power and speed into your play. Let's start by the front spin. The easiest, in my opinion, to start with is, so there will be a variation when we are on our back or when we are in front. Let's start by the front one. So I'm spinning, you can count 1, 2. Normally I'm coming back. Now I'm gonna let the staff spin till my hand can't move anymore. You see, I'm blocked. And when I'm here, I'm actually gonna bring the staff to my shoulder. It's almost in contact with it. Then turn to my back and release it. So it gives this dynamic. One, two, three. Bring it back. One, two. Turn your hand to the maximum. Bring it to your shoulder. Going up with it. Release it. You can also do it without the shoulder like I just did. You simply here go till you can't anymore. You let this part going up and behind you, then you release. One, two, three, and you give that. I personally prefer the variation with the shoulder, a bit more aesthetic, but both work. One, two, three, go up, open. One, two, three, go up and open. Can do it from the side. One, two, three. Go to my shoulder and open. Or just stay around the forearm. Going with the spin and open. One, two, three, open. Now that we are comfortable with the front variation and the front 3-beat, we're gonna go for the back one, which is a tiny bit tricky. So we go for a 2-beat, 1, 2, then this head is gonna turn even more, and now you can see that my hand is twisted. I can feel the pressure around here, and we're gonna bring the head, which is on the side, in front. I'm gonna do it again. 1, 2, 3, and we bring the next head in front. 1, 2, 3, and here you're gonna really feel it. Just bring your hand in front. Do it on the side so you can see it. 1, 2, 3, then the fourth is coming, but we're gonna bring it in front. 1, 2, 3, and here we open it in front. Visually, it also can be really nice because you can really open it to the side and you really give some power into your move. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, and if you go to the discomfort here, 1, and be able to bring the other. 1, 2, 3. When you feel this tension around your arm, is a moment to bring it in front. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can combine after both together. Of course, I think we understand each other, but I'm showing only one hand when we practice both hands. Just to be sure and to remind you that it's really important to go for both at the beginning. I didn't do it, and I really regret it later when I had to go back to all the basic and to relearn everything from the beginning. So work on both, then we go for the backward 3-beat. Like for the other one, there will be a variation in front, and there will be a variation in our back. I'm gonna start this time by the back because I find it a bit easier, and I'm gonna remind you one of the variations we had before. It's actually just at the opposite. So we are now backspin, and when we arrive here, we're gonna let the staff rotate till we can't anymore, then we just bring it in front. 1, 2, 3, bring it in front. You see, it's really similar than the front one actually for the front spin. And we can also say, bring it to our shoulder and bring it back in front. Actually feel then on the forearm is a tiny bit more comfortable for this one. On the side, 1, 2, 3, bring it forward. 1, 2, 3, bring it forward. The more you're going to be able to make it fluid and follow the head you want to go up, the more natural and less painful for the wrist and the elbow is going to be. Good. Now for the front variation of it, we're going to go for 1, 2, 3. This one is a tiny bit tricky. You see I'm opening, and now the staff is almost going under my elbow, and I'm bringing it behind. You don't need to wait till you touch, you should not wait till you touch your elbow, but it's a sign when you're here and you turn enough, and you just bring it behind. From the side. And coming back. And a bit slower. 1, 2, 3. Bring. Now that we covered the 3 bits from front and back, I'm going to include another variation actually of the 3 bits. We will include now the notion of body tracing. Body tracing is this idea that you are following the line of the body with the object you are manipulating and adding a really nice visual of it. I think Poi is probably the prompt where you see that the most, or they're really playing all around the body. It's not necessarily complicated, but you can see for yourself that the visual of it is really nice, and also it brings a tiny bit of contact with the body with. So let's go for it. We're gonna start first with the backward spin, the back spin. When we are on our back, here the staff is going up, and we're gonna bring it behind our back and going back in front. I'm gonna show you from closer. So here, what you want is really that the staff is reaching this line of your body. I can feel the staff on my spine. The center is around the level of my head. Then it's going to fall in front of me. And when I say in front, it's actually that line of the body, the connection between the chest and the back here. So if I do it from really close, so you can see, it's going to my back, coming back in front. It's touching my chest also. Doesn't need to, but it's to sit. And what you want also, while you are going above the head like this, while the center should be above the head, is because if you don't, it gets really uncomfortable and not that visual. You want the staff to create also this nice circular motion. You see the head is going to do, you can follow it, a circle around our head before going out. And it looks pretty nice. So again, it's going on top here. So it's our 3 bit. Place it around the spine, going down in front. And by trying to make a really nice circle around our head. If you have a mirror, you will definitely have for this one. And if you are hurting your head with your hand or it gets stuck, it's because you are not high enough. And this is for the back spin, starting from our back. But like you start to notice now, everything working here around stuff and spinning in general. So we can do exactly the same from a front spin and a 3-2, where now I'm gonna actually go at the point of exit. It will be our point of entry. Now I bring the staff, I'm going above my head and finishing behind me. I can show it to you again. I'm coming from a front spin, placing it here. The center is going above my head, going back. So it's exactly the same pathway, but just in reverse. not complicated, but it's really satisfying, and it also will give you already some first contact feeling, because it's pretty much a similar motion that you can do when you do halo. And we'll see in the next video how to combine contact and spinning and also body tracing together. And this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. With all those elements, if you can integrate them into your spinning, you start to have really strong fundamentals and a lot of things you can explore to have fun with. In the next video, we'll see some front spin, or how some people call it, the helicopter, mixed with some toss, and also some horizontal work around the body that you can combine really nicely with what you already know. If you want to go further into your learning, you can find the link of my Patreon in the description below. And I wish you a really good training and have fun.